Hello, this is your host Val with the VK Career Conversation. The reason I decided to do this is that we all come from a place of insecurity when we're trying to figure out or just not knowing where we want to go with our career. What do I want to do? What's my next move with my career? Why am I feeling stuck here with what I'm doing? I remember when I started off in my career, I had no idea what I was doing, what I wanted to do. I want everyone to feel comfortable coming on. We will have professionals talking to you, myself, and others. We'll be consistent. We will feed your soul. We want you to ask questions. But I just think it's a platform that will allow you to really feel comfortable gaining information so that you can move forward in your career. You're listening to VK Career Conversations with Val. Be sure to tune in the first Monday of every month at 8 a.m. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Ali, I see we're already here. It's been a while, Dr. Pinkston. I know it's something wrong with this. Well, first of all, before I get started, I want to tell everyone that are out there listening, I really appreciate Dr. Pinkston and Dave for holding it down for me while, we all go through these family ups and downs, and valleys. And so when you have a great co-host that will just step in and just say, you know what, we got you. You take care of your business. We got you. And so with that being said, I want to say thank you. And then before we move forward, how are you doing?
Doing good. Just
Doing
it's almost March. Can you believe this? The year is getting into a fourth, over. It's crazy. How do we do this so
I was looking at that. I'm like, well, it was just January.
I know.
We just got through Christmas, and then now February is over,
Yeah.
and we're getting closer and closer to tax day. So, look,
Yeah.
and actually in business, that's one of the most important things is to stay on top of it. But it seems like it comes around
Yes.
faster. It's like every month we're paying some kind of taxes. So,
Yeah.
anyway, moving on. Today we're going to talk about, is there room to grow?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Who is that? Sometimes you have to just take a breather and figure that thing out. So, is it room to grow?
Right.
When you heard that title, what did you think about Dr. Pinkston?
You know what? I thought about all the people that are in, different stages. You and I are in one place, and boy, we're going to miss Day today. Bless her heart. I
Oh,
hope
God, yeah.
we miss you, girl. Come back soon. And she brings such a fresh young perspective, and I know
Yeah.
there's a great young audience out there, but I think you and I have a special perspective on looking backwards, maybe things we could have done a little bit different, not regrets,
Mhm.
not talking about regrets, but maybe things we could have done a little bit different, because I'm in a place now where I'm 54, but I'm ready to grow. I
Yes.
growing in my 20s, and I did, but now I feel like I'm really at a much better place, to be able to do that, really take off. So this is a great conversation.
Well, I think, when you said that you're at a place and ready to grow, I think that that's what is so wonderful and hopeful
Right.
because being in your 50s, and if we're telling the truth, me 60 will be 60 this year. I'm ready. I'm enjoying growing. And I
Absolutely.
think when you get to a place that you're stagnant,
Yeah.
and it doesn't matter the age, just stagnant period,
Right.
you really can't allow, nothing can come in
Right.
and nothing can go out. And so
That's
I think you really have to, leave yourself that grace
yes.
and the ability, the room, as we say. Is there room to grow? You have to allow yourself to have room to grow.
Yeah,
So
I want to tell you something that crossed my mind just now, because thinking about our younger audience, whatnot, you being 60, I don't believe you. I want to see your driver's license later, 'cause I don't believe you. But
oh, that's true.
right. When I thought about it at 20 and 30, about being 50, 60, I thought, oh my gosh, that's when I'm looking at retirement. That's when
Hmm.
it's over. I'm older.
Right.
No. Now, I read a statistic the other day that most people build a life and have an ultimate turnover. Maybe not, I don't want to say failure, but but some win, some fall at some point, usually happens around their 50s or so. And that most people come back for a second try. And the most successful people, the people who have the best, full tank, full bank account out there, is in their 70s, 80s, and 90s. That's when most people hit their biggest successes. So it ain't
You know,
over.
it ain't over till it's over. And I want to take this. I'm glad you went there because one of the things you do hit I hate to call it a pitfall, but I'm going to say a valley.
Yeah,
When you hit that valley in your life, that's when you really get to find out who you are.
absolutely.
And so it's a process that you have to go through. It's going to happen. I mean, whether you're in your 20s or your 30s, hopefully you're mature enough to understand it's just part of the process and
Absolutely.
you don't allow it to define you or stop you.
Absolutely.
Um,
That
uh,
was something, if you, and I know, I'm sorry, I interrupt you all with
go,
those thoughts that
yes,
you did, but don't let it stop you. I think at
yes,
one point I thought I will never recover. I will never get past this. The fall was too far, too hard, too deep.
yes.
There's no way. Let me tell you, it's been just, a few years now, and it's amplified. What I did before is
Hmm.
been amplified because I did it once the hard way already, figuring it all out.
Hmm.
I know how to do it already, so let's just jump on and get it, go back, get it done again, and I know it easier now. This the
I
second.
think the biggest thing, and hey guys, put your questions in the comments. Is there room to grow? Any questions you have around that, any questions you have for myself and Dr. Pinkston, and we will definitely do our very best to answer those questions for you. Because the most important thing, and I want you guys to hear me that are listening, failure or a pitfall does not define you.
Right,
What defines you is your fight to move forward. And so for me, I always look at, okay, so I failed.
right.
So, oh, I made the wrong decision. Did I make a wrong decision being malicious? No.
No,
Did I make a wrong decision trying to hurt someone else? No. Did I make a wrong decision because I just didn't know? Or I thought what I was doing was the best decision? Okay, well, then you learn from it
right.
and you don't just hang in there. And even if you did something intentionally, I do believe that you have to own it
Yes.
and move on. I'll give you guys a prime example. I was meeting with one of my clients in their office at their site, and this is a simple mistake that could have been devastating as a consultant. So they relocated my normal office I work in, and they moved me to I moved to another office. I'd asked the IT guys to please move my printer, the same printer and the computers and stuff over. What they did is they moved the computer, but they didn't move the printer because the printer that it was already one in that office. Well, they got everything hooked up. I'm ready to go. I print thinking I'm printing to my printer.
Right.
Well, another guy had came and gotten the printer that was in the other office and moved it to another area where I printed some information that was confidential information for another doctor. Someone pulled it off of the computer and went making a big issue going to the doctor saying, "Hey, I found your private information on here." And a mass email went out to the company
Wow.
from the doctor. And so when I saw it, I immediately owned my mistake. I went directly to I did not get into the email wars and fights and defensiveness. I immediately went to the doctor, shared what had happened. She was so apologetic but so appreciative that I immediately owned it,
Mhm.
that she basically said, I she said I made a bigger deal out of it than I should have.
Mm.
So you get what I'm saying? I think so. The
Yeah,
whole point
yeah,
of that conversation is when you own it, when you make a mistake and you own it, people can respect you for that versus trying to cover it up.
yeah.
So, you know, to grow, give yourself room to make a mistake.
Yes.
You make the mistake, okay, and then you address the mistake and you move forward. So
Absolutely. Agree. 1,000.
things happen. That even though it was an IT issue, I didn't go in there pointing the finger at IT.
Mhm.
I didn't go in there. That was mine.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I owned it, and we moved on.
Yeah.
So, does anyone have any questions that they want to throw? Hey, Sandy, how you doing out there?
Got lots
Any
of great hellos this morning.
I
Hello.
know. Good morning, guys. It looked like you guys missed us. I'm so happy. I see they're in the house this morning. So we missed you all too. So
You
put the
did.
questions out there. We have some for you. We're going to have Abigail read them to us and we're going to go for it.
Right.
Yes. So we have a question here from Richard Killinger.
Mhm.
Says, at what age did you think, yeah, maybe I still have a lot more to learn in life?
Yesterday.
Yeah. That's so true. It's funny because when I was younger, I thought I already had it figured out and knew it all.
Mhm.
I really did. And I watch my kids and they kind of seem that way at times. And I don't know. I think for me, it was about age 40. I,
Yeah.
the way it hit me, and I remember thinking it exactly, I thought that at some point, if I did everything correct, put
Mhm.
all my ducks in order, made a lot of good decisions, really worked hard and did it, that life then would just kick in and be easy and flow, and I just keep it going. And it was about age 40 where I was like, it ain't never going to do that. I'm,
No.
I'm going to fight forever. It's just a fight, a daily fight. So I just want to make sure that I
And
am in control of me and my reactions to things, and just flow with it. Just submit a little and then flow with it, I
I
guess.
have to agree with you because I think it was in my 40s too that the light bulb really came on and that I stopped worrying so much about I was going to look like a failure.
Right.
And so I think I always put that facade up
Right.
like, oh, I'm not really worried what people think. Yes, I was.
Yeah.
Yes, I was. And then finally, about my 40s, I only wish I would have learned this sooner. Uh, you know, uh, we waste so much time and so much energy. And
Yes.
Richard, please, if I can give you any advice, don't spend so much time. I'm not saying respect other people. That's not what I'm not talking about that.
Right.
But don't spend so much time worrying about how I look to the other person
Mhm.
if you're walking in integrity,
Right.
if you're walking and you're trying to do the best you can do on your job. Just be a professional and walk in integrity. And then everything else, I believe, will fall in place. But for me, it was in my 40s as well.
Same. And I feel like too that my 50s, this decade,
Oh, God.
is the best.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I would hate it. I thought, oh, there's going to be wrinkles. There's going to be
Yeah.
all this stuff. But I'm like, oh my gosh, this has been looking at 55 coming up in a few months, and I'm like, this has been the greatest decade. It can only get better from here, really.
I want to agree with you. I want to agree with you as well. I see Donnell Harper. What is he saying out there?
Yeah, so we have a question from Darnell Harper. Says, as a consultant, what is the first thing you want your client to know about their self?
Wow. Okay. Well, I think as a consultant, the first thing I want them to know about me, and then I'll go to them. I think that they can't even I can't express to them what they need to know without them knowing me.
Mhm.
One, I am going to always be honest with you. Two, it has to become almost like a marriage. We have to be very transparent with one another. If we're that way, then it's going to work seamlessly together. And for them, they have to know that I am a safe landing place for them. Even if they don't feel confident about what the picture looks like, they are going to be in a safe place. We're going to figure it out together. I'm going to take your hand and we're going to walk together through the process.
Right.
Yeah. That's
I
probably
absolutely agree too. I mean, I form, 20 to 27 different relationships every day,
mhm.
and that's just in office, and what happens out of office, emails or things like that, social media, whatever. There's more. And you're all people are always coming to me for advice, and they're coming to you too, Val, for advice. And so each person is different, and each person, their age and where they've been, their ethnicity and culture, and everything has a different place with people. I know,
Right.
once when I started with my practice, there was a person that has been my patient for 20 years now. And we started out rough. It was pretty difficult. They weren't very trusting, had, a lot of trauma, very difficult things going on in their life. And so, we had a long way to go, and they wanted to know where to start in their life. And it really started with us over time as a process, getting that trust and that relationship value set up and put together. It's not something I can just give in the first few moments with somebody. It takes time to develop.
Right. Right.
Not too long ago, I guess it was probably about 5 years ago, the same person told me, Dr. Pinkston, I tell you things I don't tell God. And that just floored me about the responsibility that I have
Yes.
to somebody else and
Right.
up to that. And so it's a process, Darnell, it's just a process with people. You have to learn them and who they are and gain trust. And then you can kind of, learn what to say.
So important. So important. What is Donald James saying out there? That's one of my classmates, I believe, from on the island. What did he say out there?
He said, does learning really related with my age? My 60-year-old grandma still panics when she takes care of my baby, when she almost takes care of 5 to 6 children and make them a good human being.
It's so funny, Donald, if this is true, my classmate, I want to say to you, it just, nothing. I mean, I think we still do panic. I think that, just enjoy life. I mean, all I can say is,
there's something about taking care of people.
Yes, the responsibility.
Else, and especially somebody else's kid.
Yes. Thank you so much, Donald, for just jumping on and continuing to support the brand. Other questions?
Yes, we got another question from Don Barch on Facebook. Says, do you guys still regret your wrong choices?
No.
Good question. Never.
I don't. I'm gonna speak for myself. I don't, because had I not went through what I went through, I wouldn't be this wonderful person that I am today. I believe that I am truly walking in my true purpose that God had set up for me. I don't regret it. You learn from everything. You should. The good, the bad, and the ugly. And so, no, I don't regret the bad choices. Now, have there been some situations that I would have preferred to do differently looking back now? Yes. But is it a regret? No.
Yeah.
I knew what I knew then.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's all I can go with. I made the best choice then. What about you?
Well said. You knew what you knew then. And you said it at the beginning of the show, that you are just, if you are walking your line with integrity and you are just doing the best you can, you will make wrong decisions. That is a part of life. You are right, Val. It just makes you who you are so that you can make better decisions later. The only thing is when you envelop yourself in regret over things that you cannot change, you expend a lot of energy that you could be using to put forth and do good in your future. There's no ability to go back and change what's past you. You just have to take it in a positive fashion and move forward. That's the only thing that you can do.
Well, regret is something else controlling you.
Right.
Versus you're controlling anything. So you can't change, and you can't even, and it keeps you in a looking backwards. And I just refuse to live my life regretting the past. The past is the past. It's in the past for a reason. Leave it in the past and move to the future.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I hope I answered your question, Dawn.
Yes. So we have another one from Griff Jawad on YouTube.
Good morning, Griff.
Says, do you think each person has a different point of view when learning new things?
You want to take that?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think ultimately we all in the end kind of wind up with the same the same thoughts. I'm doing the best I can. I want the
Mhm.
best for myself. I want the best for my family. All of those things are the same, no matter where you come from, what age you are, and who you are. But the way that you go about that, your point of view is what makes you different. And I think
Right.
it develops over time, and as we learn new things, we just have to keep our minds and our ears open, to others, and what somebody may have learned and done, and advice that's given, and all these different experiences that we have, just incorporating it together. Our point of view is different, from somebody else's point of view. We may all want the same thing, but it's nice to open up to some of those different ways of doing things, and look at life a little differently from time to time. I absolutely.
Okay. All righty. Abigail, you have anything that you want to add to that?
I really think when it comes to like regretting, that there's that saying of
I
like,
love to get the younger generation's opinion in here too.
Absolutely.
there's all these sayings like no regrets, live life with no regrets, forget
Mhm.
regrets, all the things. But I think it really comes from a place of like, this is my journey and this is where I'm supposed to be right now.
Mhm.
And, just because I may feel like weird about something or like anxious about something, or you may be feeling those regretful feelings, it got you to where you are today.
Right.
They call it the butterfly effect for a reason. Something as simple as a butterfly flying across can like impact your life in so many ways.
Oh
And
wow. I
so,
love that.
even if you've made bad decisions and maybe you had to suffer some consequences of that, I think, it all got you to where you are today.
I love that butterfly thought because it is. It's just passing by you, and it's how you see the situation versus regretting it. Yes, I made a bad decision, and I want to keep saying this, guys, especially when we're looking at our professional career and making decisions to grow as individuals and as professionals. You when you walk in regret, that's walking in a lack of confidence because you're going to always second guess yourself. And if you think people are not going to pick up on that, you're only fooling yourself.
Right.
So make a mistake. If you make a mistake, own it and move on. Learn from it and move on.
Absolutely.
Don't sit in regret. Regret is just, in my opinion, and it's just my opinion, it's just really a mind game. And and it shows that you lack of confidence. And I think it's going to project a lack of confidence.
Absolutely. There are
Yeah.
times too where a door shuts on you, and it can be
Oh, God.
pretty devastating.
Yes.
Some horrid things that happen to you in life, and it won't be long, and from months to years, it could take a while, but it won't be long before you realize ultimately it was probably the best thing.
Right.
Yeah, so if you can kind of learn to understand that. It's hard when something bad happens. You feel shame sometimes. You do experience some regret, grief, all of those things. But ultimately, if you can just sit in that moment and say, you know what, it's always worked out in the past. Nothing's ever really failed me.
Right.
Ultimately, things have always worked out. And if you can keep that perspective and know that it will work out, keep moving and keep walking your path.
It goes back to, again, and I'm going to say this, just give yourself room
Mhm.
to make the mistake, grow. I have to keep saying that because I literally could have stopped my own career path
Mhm.
with all of the mistakes I made.
Sure.
If I would have just focused on that, and if I would have tried to control it. And that's the one thing that I think the younger generation is bringing to us and helping us as the millennials, to not the millenniums, what are we, baby boomers? I think that's where we are. We're somewhere around there. You guys are helping us to be okay with stomping our toe or or not getting it right. At least for me,
Yeah.
it's a breath of fresh air. The only thing that I can say to the younger generation is you guys have to become a little more responsible and conscientious about your work.
Right.
you know. And if you're going on a job, remember you're getting paid. Well, let me just, I'm going to go there. I got to go there.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I don't, right now we're sitting about 1250 people on here, but I need to talk to you guys. And I know that my audience is a younger generation, and I love you guys so much for supporting me, but I have a responsibility to tell you guys something in the career field, in your career field. When you are on a job, and you are working for someone else. Remember, you are working for someone else. They hired you because there was a need. And because there was a need, they need you to be there to meet the need. Don't take on the attitude that you're doing them a favor, you know, and don't come into the situation as you can have desires to want to grow, but it's a process. Go through the process, learn all you can learn, and present yourself in a way that your superior, your boss, your managers, your directors, your supervisors want to say, okay, it's something special about this young man or young woman. They show up on time, they are committed to the vision, they are hardworking. I think they'll be a great person to pull out and either mentor or move up to the next level. So that was just something pressing on my heart that I felt I needed to share.
Sure. Sure. Very well said.
Abigail, as a young, go ahead.
Yes, so we have another question from John Neville says, making mistakes is a big thing for me. It always hits my confidence. What should I do with that?
Wow.
That's a good one.
That's a real good one. John, first of all, hello, how you doing? I think again, it goes back to, it does hit your confidence, but you have to know that you're human and you're going to make mistakes. The person sitting next to you make mistakes. The one that's going to come, that's in front of you, and the one that's going to come behind you, are going to make mistakes. So the best advice I can give you is own the mistake, learn from the mistake, and move on. Don't revisit it. Move
Right.
on. Dr.
Right.
Pinkston, what would you say?
You know, I always reference my 22-year-old daughter that I have. She is a very hard worker, and John, I bet you are too. And I watch her, and she's so hard on herself, and always wanting the best of everything to happen right now, and to be the best at everything. And you know, when something doesn't exactly go her way, or when she does something that, you know, she looks back and says, "Oh, I could have done that different." She
Hmm?
takes herself to a level that I keep saying, you know, my dear, you cannot do that to yourself. You are feeding a negative energy
Yes.
that's going to suck other negative things to you. And
Yes.
this is within you. This is a
Yes.
of you. Not everybody's looking at you saying, "Oh, you made a huge mistake. How awful! You're horrible." And not you are saying that, not everybody else. So
And
where is
that's so true.
yeah, it's in you.
You know, and it's funny you say that. And so I think that goes back to John's question. How do you deal with it? I mean, it hits your confidence.
It does.
It's really you. It's in your head. And please understand, I'm not a doctor. I have Dr. Pinkston on here, but I do think that we put it in our heads, and that's a human, that's a naturally human trait to do.
Yeah.
But you got to dispel it. You
Right.
you have to own the fact that you're going to make mistakes
Right.
and move on. So
I told my daughter, I said, it may come from some of your upbringing, and
yes,
you know, no parent is perfect. I'm not perfect. Her father's
right.
not perfect. And, you know, and she was the firstborn, and in a, you know, a different cultural family,
Hmm.
and everything. And so I just tell her, I said, somewhere back, you learned that maybe you're not good enough. And I want you to begin to look at that and unlearn that and see yourself as a very worthy, wonderful person. And that, you know, you are like everybody else. You're going to make mistakes. It's a process. You're going to learn. Look ahead. You're going to be okay. It's always been okay. It will continue to be okay.
Oh, Dr. Pinkston, that is it in a nutshell. You have to unlearn. You have
Right.
to unlearn what something happened early on that you picked that up
Yeah.
and you really suck in the negative more than, oh, it was just a mistake and move on. That's so true. You have to unlearn it. Next question.
Okay, next
Oh,
question
they're giving it to us this
They are.
morning.
I love it.
is from John. He says, "What is the regret for you? Is it okay to not regret and to only look for the future?"
Good
Go,
question.
Dr. Pinkston.
Well, I think everybody's focused on regret and mistakes this morning.
Yeah. Yes.
This is a great topic. And so, you can't not, I mean, regret can be bring with it such a negative connotation. And I think that there are levels of regret. I think a little bit of regret can be healthy if you look at it in an aspect of what did I do wrong? What could I have done
Mhm.
better to make things better? And then take that lesson and move forward. But if you go to a side of regret where, like we were talking about with John, the other John, that it is this a horrendous mistake. I've done something awful, and it hits your confidence, and it takes you down that more negative path. Then that's what you do need to shut down, not regret that way, and only look forward. But
Mhm.
regret can be a little bit of a healthy aspect to move,
Yes.
learn, and begin to move forward. So you can't shut down all your feelings and just shut it off and move forward. You have to learn a little bit from it.
Well, I think when we're saying learn from it and not wallow in it, it's not, don't stay stuck in it. So
Exactly.
I want to make sure that I am conveying just, it's okay to have a little regret. I made a mistake. Okay. You got to sit in it for a minute. And I do say a minute,
A minute.
and you learn from it and then move on,
Exactly.
because it's going to attack your confidence. The more you sit there and ponder over it and deal with it and keep reliving it,
Yeah.
it's going to attack your confidence, which is ultimately going to attack your future or
Right.
your current present state. So you have to kind of sit in it but move on.
There are many people who take negative things that happen to them, experiences, and just stuff it down and just
Yeah.
deal with it and just trudge forward. It will come back to haunt you, though.
Yes, you got to deal with it.
You got to deal with it because it's
Hmm.
going to match you at some point. Just don't deal with it too hard, like you say, wallow in it and take it on negatively for long periods of time. You've got to really focus and deal with it in a very positive fashion as much as you can, and take it
Yes,
forward.
and move on. Go ahead.
We have another question from Stephen Robart on YouTube.
Good
He
morning,
says,
Stephen.
"Is it right to boost someone's confidence while destroying someone else's?"
Oh, never.
Never.
Never. I mean, how can you boost one at the expense of another?
Yeah.
I do think that there are times when maybe someone uh, that's in a situation that they didn't do something wrong, and so you want to encourage them, or they're doing something great, you want to encourage them to keep going.
Yeah.
But you also have to read the room. If there is someone that is really feeling down, there is someone that have made mistakes, their job, maybe they got something personally going on. Be conscious of others when doing that. Maybe you take the other person off to the side and you
Mhm.
have a little conversation to lift them up.
Right.
And you know what I'm saying? I just think that if we read the room
Mhm.
and we're conscious, and we consider the next person, I
Yeah.
think it always work out.
That's a leadership tool. So
Yeah.
when you're talking about boosting someone's confidence and destroying somebody else's, that you're talking about a leader, and that's a
Hmm.
leader role. The leader role is to scan the room, as you say, Val, and read the room, and just realize that it's okay to give accolades and use a person as an example,
Hmm.
to say you've done well. This is how everybody should perform, but be watchful, because there's going to be somebody that will take that personally and say, and take
You're
that.
singling me out. Yeah.
Yeah, and so yeah, that's a leadership tool, uh,
Hmm.
to be able to scan the room and know when you might be tearing somebody else down. Be very
Right.
careful.
And also it's a leadership room, leadership ability, but it's also as you mature,
Yes.
you need to be conscious of how, because if we take it out of the workplace and we just take it in our day-to-day setting, we should be conscious of, and that's going to come over time.
It does.
It should come over time. So just need to be conscious of the next person.
Absolutely.
Okay. Mhm.
Okay, we have another question from Kevin on Facebook. Says,
Okay, Kevin.
how about comparing one person's talent to another person?
No. Okay, go ahead, Dr. Pinkston. I'm just jumping on here. They're giving them to me this morning. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
this is
They're
great.
speaking to my soul this morning, or maybe I missed you guys.
Little of both, I think.
Yes.
So you can't do that. I mean, there's kind of another leadership issue there too, as you have everybody has a talent.
Right.
So you have to allow people to grow and develop in their talent and push them forward. You can't compare.
Right.
So if you're comparing, what you're doing then is just saying this person might be best at this role, this person might be best at that role. But if
Mhm.
you're saying this person is talented at this and this person is not, again, that's a very negative focus on things that will never help your
Your
company
team.
groove,
Mhm.
whatever it is that you're doing. That won't help. Comparing is not the way to look at it, but you can point out people's better tendencies and better abilities, but you want to maximize theirs while you're looking at somebody else's and maximize theirs. Everybody's
Correct. Everyone's different. And it's never about tearing, it should never be about tearing someone else down. When that is happening, whether it is from your boss, your coworkers, or you doing it, it's about you. When you are projecting negative, or that person is projecting something negative, it's really about the person that's projecting it.
yeah,
So be careful that you're not taking in someone's perception of themselves.
that
you
is
know
so true.
you know what I'm saying? You
So true.
be okay with that person in the mirror.
Yeah,
When you get up in the morning, one of the things I do, I really look at myself and I say, you know what? I'm all right.
yeah,
Today is going to be a good day, and I'm going to give the best that I can give today. And
yeah,
that's all you can do, is be okay with yourself. And when you project that, when it starts with you, you're projecting that out. So,
absolutely.
yeah.
Well
All
said.
righty.
Okay, we have another question from, or yeah, this is from Grifter Watt on YouTube. So many people want to make you look like you are not worthy of anything, specifically or especially coworkers. How do
Absolutely.
you handle that situation?
Okay.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. And it goes right back to what I just said.
Absolutely.
When you get up in the morning, when you're getting yourself together, look in the mirror as you're getting yourself together, brushing your teeth, combing your hair, and really affirm yourself.
Yeah.
Most of the time, when your coworkers or people are trying to make you feel bad, always remember it's not about you, it's
Right.
about them. And in most cases, you'll find, if you have a conversation, if that coworker is someone that you can pull aside and have a respectful conversation with, and you share with them, when they say that, when you say this to me, here's what I'm hearing and here's how it's making me feel. A lot of times I find that people, especially when you do it the right way, they'll own it, and they will either autocorrect or they'll move on to someone else, because they know that you're calling them out in a way that's respectful, because you don't want foolishness in the workplace.
Right.
But as an adult, you should be able to have a conversation with someone in a respectful way.
Yeah.
Dr. Pinkston?
You could always dish it right back out to them. And you don't want to do that, because that just starts a little war, and that just
Right.
perpetuates. And so when it comes to the workplace, and it comes to life in general, I find that most of the I guess evil is a heavy word, but most of the evil and the negativity comes from jealousy or
Yes.
and in the workplace, I think oftentimes there could be some jealousy there. There also can be people who are just going through some very, very, difficult things. And again, like Val says, they are projecting their difficult life onto others. And that is something that is within them. That is
Hmm.
their problem. Now they can bring that problem larger and make it your problem. But the best thing you can do is just allow them to be who they are and what they do, and just realize that is their their
Yes.
issue and forgive them for that, and just try to do what's best for you, and keep moving on. What Val is saying about getting up in the morning and saying those good things about yourself, and validating yourself like that is a piece of a part of meditation that some people do. A lot of people think meditation is just sitting on a pillow and, your legs crossed and sage burning and all that. And that's absolutely not what it is. A lot of the great thinkers start their day by their setting their intention. So if
Mm-hmm.
your intention setting is like that, where you say, listen, I am okay and I am doing the best I can. I want to do the best I can for others. I want to make this a great day. This will be a great day. No matter
Mm-hmm.
what happens, we're going to handle this in a great way. And that is just setting a positivity and an intention and an affirmation for yourself that could lead you through the day. You start that, you're going to start off in a much better way. And that's what Val was talking about.
100%. And we're going to take two more and then we're going to have to wrap it
Great.
up.
There you go.
Oh, oh my God. I'm just loving this. I miss you guys so much. Let's just hear some of the comments they're saying out there, even if it's not a question.
Yeah, so we have one. There it is. Susan Babin said, I was literally on my phone last week for your live. Missed you guys so much.
Oh, thank you so much. Gosh, thank you so much, Susan.
And then James says, you guys must have seen some parents.
Compare their child to another child, maybe.
I think it's such a bad impact on the child. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
100%, James. Each one of your kids, each kid is different.
Yeah.
And God has not created any of us to be the same.
Right.
And so and one may have a different special trait than the other one, but the other one has its special trait.
That's
So
right.
if you're doing that, then and I would employ a parent to stop.
Right.
And again, that goes back to what Dr. Pinkston said earlier. It's some of that early on trauma that took place
Yes.
that attacks our confidence, that really affects us, and I can see that being one.
That is trauma right there.
Yeah.
That's emotional trauma.
Mhm. Yes.
All right. I think we're ready for those last couple questions.
Okay.
We have another one from Don Barch on Facebook.
Hey,
Says,
Dawn.
is it okay to not be okay all the time?
Yes.
You know what? Don has had a couple of questions up, and I think Don may be going through some difficult times. I'm not trying to call you out, poor thing,
Yes.
but it may be that you are going through a tough time, and let me reach to you on this one, and anybody else that's out there going through it, and you do, just lock yourself down and be prepared. You're going
Mhm.
to go through some really, really tough things sometimes. They always say that God never gives you, and I don't know if you're religious or not, and it doesn't really matter. It's just we all have some sort of faith, and they always say that God will never give you more than you can handle, and I disagree. I think sometimes you can get more than you think. You think you can't handle, and it
Mhm.
that way sometimes. But please just look within you, and find that light that is there, that is ready to shine. It's there. You have potential. You want to go a place. So just take that and believe in it, and take rest. Be easy on yourself, and just try to just keep moving forward. It will get better. Hear me.
I 100% agree with you, and I'm going to give you one little other piece, Dawn. When you're going through something and it feels like it's really heavy, it's just pressure coming from all ends. One of the things that I found that I am really coming out on the other side. So if the pressure is on you, but there is something so great if you just stay with, keep going, keep moving, keep moving. There is something so much greater that is waiting for you on the other side. So stay focused, stay positive, and give yourself some grace. But as Dr. Pinkston said, just take some time for you. Sometimes you need to mentally shut down and just do some self-care for you. Do something for you,
Right.
not for someone else.
And grab all the support you can. There are people
Yes.
who love you and want to help you, and sometimes it's hard to ask for that, but grab all that support you can.
It's important. And always, you guys can always shoot us your comments, your questions, even when we're not on live. Trust me, we are looking and we will definitely respond back to you guys.
Right.
Okay, we'll do one more question
Okay.
again from Richard Killinger.
All righty.
Said, did you ever have any situations in your life where it was hard for you to love yourself?
Oh, I'm gonna turn that to you, Abigail.
To me,
Uh-huh. Come on.
yeah, I mean, of course, I think like we all go through phases in life where you're not maybe confident of where you're at, or and sometimes it's not even about confidence.
Right.
Loving yourself and confidence are two different things. You can feel good about yourself but not truly love who you are, and spend the time to like dedicate to yourself. So yeah, of course, I think that I have gone through times like that, and it's easy to say and point the finger and tell people you just need to love yourself.
Right.
You need to do some self-care, and that's easier said than done. And I think it takes a lot of actual work and holding yourself accountable, and maybe not. Sometimes it's not about pumping yourself up,
Right.
but it's not about tearing yourself down either, but saying like, hey, this is where I maybe fall short. This is an area that I'm not loving, and whatever you can't accept about yourself, you should change.
There you go. Very good answer.
And there's a lot of deep hurt out there, it sounds like today, and I think that we look backwards, if you look backwards into things, and it can be healthy to do that a little bit. I guarantee you'll find some of the childhood trauma there of places, and everybody throws trauma, the word, around today, but this is very real. And there are situations, I think, that have hit you in your past that have formulated this place that people might be where it's hard for you to love yourself, and that's a place where we are leaving room to grow and developing all the time. I still at 54 find days where I just don't like myself very much, and I know that I need to do better and move forward. But I think that life coaching or counseling or things like that, and that type of support could also be great about helping you develop that self-worth and that self-love again. It's everybody goes through it, and you've got to you just got to find your support and build it around you, and keep going.
Oh wow! Can you put Dawn's statement back up? Oh my God!
Dawn said, "It's true. I'm going through a bad tide of my life, and thank you so much, guys, for your wise words."
Oh, hey Dawn, we will be praying for you. We will be keeping your name lifted up in the most positive way. I can give you any words. Just hold on. Encourage yourself, because I promise you, it's right on the other side. You can't quit. You can't give up. You got to keep pressing through, but give yourself some grace.
Absolutely.
To just breathe.
Absolutely.
Take some time. If you have a really good friend that you can talk to, go talk to your friend. If you have just breathe. That's the best advice I can give you. And I'm so happy that you're on here this morning. You guys have made my day. For me, I have to get up sometime and push through even when I don't feel like it. And this is the reason why I push through for people like you guys. So thank you so much. Dr. Pinkston, I know it's time for us to go. It's been great. What do you want to leave them with?
I do. This has been really great, and Val, this has been kind of a deeper show. I think I feel a lot of energy out there. People who maybe really needed to hear this today. So I'm so grateful for it. I know, and I don't know if you want to speak to this. We may be moving to once a month now instead of twice a month, and so I want everybody to.
She is so petty. Oh, this is my friend. Okay, so she's putting me on the spot, guys. I want to hear from you all. And please be honest with me. I have, because I have a lot going on, but I love this so much. But I want to hear from you guys before we go out. Put a 1 in the chat if you want me to continue with the twice a month. Put a 2 if you understand that
she's busy and she has a lot on her plate.
But so 1, continue with the twice a month. 2, you're okay, but you'll still be here once a month. It doesn't matter when we're on, you will be there. Absolutely. Please put it in. And I'm not going to end this until I see the numbers coming in. So I really want to hear it. And while Dr. Pinkston is closing out, I need to see them chats going, or I'm going to assume it doesn't matter to you guys.
I want you all to know that I love you very much. And it's been nice knowing you, because she's going to cut me off at the end today for being so manipulative.
No way.
Val, I just felt something today, and it feels like that people need us out there, and so there's lots of ways to accomplish things without you pouring your whole self into this all the time. We can all talk about that and figure out how to make it happen if this is really helpful for people. But I want everybody to know, I do have a podcast too, and I would love for you to come on and look at the podcast. It is medically driven, but it's about a lot of health topics, young or old, that people are dealing with these days that maybe your physicians are not dealing with the way you like or enjoy. So drpbetterlife.com is where you can find all of that information. You can find information on my guests and all their, internet address and things like
Yes.
that. Find them, but you can also find the iTunes and the podcast and all of that. drpbetterlife.com. And then you just look for me on social media and all that as well. I'm trying to develop some great things and do some wonderful stuff, so I would appreciate your support. But I thank you all very, very much. This is helpful for me as much as it is, I hope, for you, and all of your questions and comments really brighten my whole month. I love it. This has been an extremely enjoyable year for me to have done this. Thank you, Val.
Thank you. And it's okay. I always have petty friends around me because I am petty too. And so sometimes it's good to be petty and have a good time.
Yeah.
I want to tell you guys what a blessing it is to have Dr. Pinkston as my co-host on the show, because she truly cares, not just for her patients, she cares for me. She cares for people. She cares for you guys. So I hear what she's saying. And I know that this morning has been, oh my God, it has been beautiful. It's like coming home, and it's exactly what I needed. So I thank you guys so much for giving us this opportunity to just get on here and pour and talk and have a conversation and help you guys while helping ourselves in our professional career. Again, you can catch us as Stan. We'll be back on when, Abigail?
The next one is the last week of March.
The last week of March,
Yeah.
But I may hear Dr. Pinkston. We may come up with something. If I can't do it, then we'll figure out something. Maybe my co-host will take it in. So we're going to come back. And again, I love you guys. And until next time, bye.